Hey there. Welcome back. The story you're about to listen to is inspired by a photo I saw on social media. That photo plays more of a role into the introduction of a key character that will be introduced in Chapter 2, but this is Chapter 1, so we'll focus on that when the time comes. Also, before beginning this story, I'm assuming you're here because of the original thumbnail. If that thumbnail is still up at the time of the release of this video, I hadn't come up with a title for this story, so I just put the title of this chapter as the thumbnail instead. Now without further ado.
Chapter 1. Hostage in the Bank. John had been going to the same bank for years to make his weekly deposit. It was just another ordinary day for him as he entered the bank with the familiar chime of the door. He was greeted with a smile by the teller who recognized him.
Good morning, John. How may I assist you today?
The teller asked politely.
I'm here to make my usual deposit.
John replied, smiling back. As the teller counted the cash, John looked around the bank. There were a few customers waiting in line, and he noticed a security guard stationed near the entrance. He felt safe and secure as he completed his transaction. But as he turned to leave, he heard a commotion outside. Suddenly, the doors burst open, and a group of armed people stormed into the bank, shouting and waving their weapons. Everyone in the bank froze, including John. The robbers demanded the tellers to fill their bags with cash, and they started to threaten the customers. John could feel his heart pounding in his chest as he tried to make sense of what was happening. But then, to his horror, he realized that the robbers weren't just after the money. They wanted him.
You! Come here!
John's legs felt like they had turned to stone as he slowly walked towards the robbers. They shoved him towards a table in the center of the bank where they had set up a laptop.
We need you to open this app for us. Now!
The robber demanded. John had no idea what they were talking about, but he knew he had to comply. He hesitantly took the laptop and opened the app. The robbers started to move around the bank, gathering the cash and valuables, while John was stuck at the table, trying to figure out the app. It seemed like a regular banking app, but there was something strange about it. As he tried to navigate through the app, John noticed that it had a feature that allowed access to an encrypted file. The file was labeled
Project Alpha.
And John had no idea what it could be. But as he was about to click on the file, he felt a sudden jolt of pain in his head, and he passed out. When John came to, he was lying on the floor of the bank, surrounded by the robbers who were holding their guns to his head.
Where's the file, John? We know you saw it.
One of the robbers shouted. John had no idea what they were talking about. He tried to explain that he had no knowledge of any file, but the robbers weren't convinced.
We're not leaving here without that file. And you're not leaving here alive unless you give it to us.
Another robber threatened. John knew he was in a dangerous situation, and he had to come up with a plan fast. He tried to remember everything he saw on the app, hoping that it would give him some clue about the file. But as he looked at the robbers, he realized that they weren't going to let him go without that file. He had no other choice but to comply.
I'll help you find the file. Just don't hurt anyone.
John said, his voice trembling. The robbers looked at each other, nodding in agreement. John knew that he had just made a deal with the devil, but it was the only way he could save himself and the people in the bank.
Chapter 2 will be released in the next few weeks, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification so you'll know when it's released. Like this video as well. The algorithm likes that kind of stuff. Okay, see you in the future.